This is On the Docket, breaking news.
Tigers' top prospect, Kevin McGonigle. He is officially made the Detroit Tigers opening day roster. And he's been on fire in this spring training. So I was actually anticipating this move from the standpoint of the last few games in spring training. You're not seeing as many prospects get as much action. You're seeing a lot more of the main guys getting these starts and getting the majority of the at-bats. You're starting to see A.J. Hinch and other teams out there, other managers, more managing it like a regular game. Not fully, but mostly, as these are the last few chances to get tuned up before opening day, which is coming up quickly. But with that being the case, we've still seen Kevin McGonigle be one of those main guys that has been playing in some of these games, even with fewer and fewer prospects playing in these games. So big stuff. Big stuff for Kevin McGonigle and the Detroit Tigers. He is the number 2 prospect in Major League Baseball behind Connor Griffin of the Pirates, who, by the way, they actually are going to have him start the regular season in the minor leagues. So, but huge congrats to Kevin McGonigle, who has been absolutely raking in spring training. And so, yeah, that news breaking literally just now, right in that commercial break, that Kevin McGonigle has officially been named to the Detroit Tigers opening day roster, which is huge for the infield. And especially as this team didn't really do much in free agency in terms of, getting a different power bat, which is something that a lot of people wanted from this Tigers team. Of course, the moves that they made with the pitching, shoring up the bullpen, getting obviously a huge, a big time addition to the starting rotation with Framber Valdez, getting Justin Verlander back into the fold. Then some of these other bullpen moves, like I mentioned, Drew Anderson and Kenley Jansen, two of the big names coming in to help out the bullpen. But not really any moves in terms of getting some extra impact bats in there, which we did see for the first half of the year, at least last year for the Tigers. Hitting wasn't necessarily a problem for this Tigers team. You had a lot of guys playing well at the plate. I mean, for crying out loud, you had, 7 All-Stars? And the only pitching All-Star was Tarek Skubal, with the rest position players. Some pretty good hitters in there. I don't think anybody expected Javi Baez to have the season that he had. Obviously, Riley Green, All-Star level, he was amazing. Spencer Torkelson was good for a while in there. Kerry Carpenter, he got cold kind of towards the end of the season. Obviously, he had a big playoff series against the Seattle Mariners. And then don't forget that Gleyber Torres, he's back. And some of these other guys that we kind of forget about that kind of faded a little bit last season because of various injuries and other problems. And Matt Vierling is one of those guys. He's actually had a really big spring training. He's got 14 of 46 at the plate, 5 doubles, a triple, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, actually leads the team in RBIs in spring training. 304 batting average, 920 on base plus slugging. So Matt Vierling, maybe he's a guy that we can watch for having a bounce back season. Again, kind of lost in the fold a little bit last year with some injuries that he was dealing with. And don't forget Zach McKinstry. He's a solid utility guy, really good utility guy for this Tigers team as well. But Kevin McGonigle, 250 batting average, but man, this guy can slug it. 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and a triple. He's scored 8 runs. He's batted in 8 runs. And he's drawn 11 walks to just 8 strikeouts. That is huge. I mean, if you can get anywhere close to drawing a similar amount of walks that you are striking out, that's a pretty good sign. And if you're drawing more walks than you are striking out, that's That's huge. Shows his discipline at the plate. And, yeah, this kid's going to be solid. Only 21 years of age, by the way. Kevin McGonigle. So this is a guy that I've been excited for. Really caught my radar in last year's spring training. He had a pretty good spring training last year, but wasn't quite there yet. And then keep in mind, this is a first-round guy, too. Drafted in the first round, 37th pick 3 years ago in the 2023 MLB draft. So as a hitter, to make that sort of a turnaround, too. I mean, pitchers usually take longer than hitters to make the major leagues, but, to be in the majors within 3 years of being drafted is quite impressive. So, I mean, this kid's going to be a stud. Looks like he could play several different infield positions, which, in my opinion, is huge because kind of unsure mostly at that shortstop spot. Second base is fine right now with Gleyber Torres. But you have Javi Baez, which at this point he's more of a utility guy. We saw him playing a bunch of different spots last year, which is great. But he's not really the go-to guy there at shortstop anymore. And then otherwise you've got like Colt Keith, which jury's still kind of out on him. Not really sold on him being the main guy at shortstop. Then you've got Trey Sweeney, same thing. I'm not really sold on Trey Sweeney quite yet. So they don't really have a lockdown guy there at shortstop. And then third base as well, mostly been held down by Zach McKinstry. But again, he's a utility guy. He can play all over the place. Matt Vierling as well. A go-to guy there at third. But I don't know. I think Kevin McGonigle coming up at this point just shows the confidence that this team has in him of immediately not only making an impact, but really taking over as the shortstop of the future for this Detroit Tigers team. So, I mean, hey, especially if he can come in, make a big impact, and, just be maybe one of those impact guys in the lineup that this team really needs. That could be huge for this Tigers team this season, especially with not really getting any impact bats and adding that to this lineup, and otherwise relying on some of the growth of some of the younger players and some of these other guys that we're looking out for. Looking at who has stood out in terms of hitting for spring training for the Detroit Tigers. Corey Julks, who just signed as a free agent for the Tigers in the offseason. Pretty unknown guy. He played 3 seasons. He's played with the Astros and then the last 2 years with the White Sox. He's a non-roster invite to spring training, so he doesn't even have a contract with the Tigers officially, but he's had a pretty hot spring training. 9 for 27 at the plate, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, 333 batting average, 165 on base plus slugging. So he's had a hot spring training. We'll see. Maybe that'll be good enough for the Tigers to officially extend him a contract. I mentioned Kevin McGonigle, Matt Vierling having big spring trainings for this Tigers team. John Peck, this is another unknown guy, non-roster invite to spring training. He's a rookie. He's never played in the majors. He's a 7th-round pick for the Tigers back in 2023. So, hey, maybe not right away, but maybe this could be a guy that we see in the future for this Tigers team. Maybe not even this season, but maybe, next season, years 4. I'm telling you, that's how Kevin McGonigle got on my radar last year. I saw he had a pretty standout spring training as well. Now, quality of opponent does matter. It depends on who you're going against. If you're going against a bunch of other minor leaguers when you happen to be playing in spring training, then that's going to skew the perception a little bit compared to some other guys that are playing other regular major leaguers in spring training. Can skew the numbers a little bit, but at least he's played good enough. John Peck, good enough that he's been on my radar a little bit in spring training. So maybe not a guy that we'll see this year, but maybe in the future for this Tigers team. Otherwise, Riley Green, he's had a pretty solid spring training. 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, 282 batting average. So kind of what we expect for him. Jace Young, he's looked pretty solid in spring training. 10 of 34 at the plate, 5 RBIs, which, again, he played a little bit last year early, but didn't really produce, and he was just in the minors otherwise. So maybe he could be more of a mainstay in the majors this season. Speaking of trying to fill some of these infield holes, some of these unsure spots, maybe he could be kind of more of a permanent guy at third base. So those are some of the standout guys been looking at spring training. Otherwise, some of the other the mainstays, we've gotten used to this Tigers team. A little bit of a colder spring training. Spencer Torkelson, just a 190 batting average below that Mendoza line. Kind of worried about him. He's been kind of up and down a little bit in his major league career, hoping he really turned the corner last year. But it is spring training. Anybody could be hot, anybody could be cold, but we'll see. And a big part of how Spencer Torkelson got off to a big start last year was his performance in spring training. He was really raking in spring training last year, and we saw that directly correlate into the regular season early. So I don't know, the fact he's kind of he hasn't been totally horrible in spring training, but just a little bit cooler than what you probably would have liked from Torque, but we'll see. Dylan Dingler has not really had the impact in spring training that maybe you would have expected. But again, it is still early. Not horrible numbers. It's 233 batting average, not the worst, but not good either. And then Kerry Carpenter, he's had I will rate his spring training as a bad spring training. Kerry Carpenter has not really been that good. 8 of 42 at the plate, 12 strikeouts, just 4 walks. He's also below the Mendoza line, 190 batting average. Not really that good. Parker Meadows, been kind of worried about him. Kind of some injury problems last year. Really hoping that this kid was able to turn the corner, especially he was big in the team's late postseason push the season before when they finally made the playoffs for the first time in forever. So Parker Meadows, a little bit of a rougher spring training as well. And then Wenzel Perez, not really great in spring training either. And then otherwise, prospects we're looking at, Max Clark. He's another one of those top prospects that we've been eyeing for the Tigers. It's still evident that he still needs some time. A little bit of a brutal, just 2 of 18 at the plate. He is still only 21 years of age. So he's still got time to cook in the oven, if you will. So Max Clark, it's just, again, that's fine. You know, you're not quite ready yet. No reason to rush you. And especially just where this Tigers team is at right now. No real reason to rush them either from that standpoint. In terms of pitching, I think we've seen some pretty good spring training performances, a couple of different Tigers. First off, Kenley Jansen. Only pitched in 4 innings, but no earned runs that he allowed. Framber Valdez, wow, 18 in the 3rd inning, so more than enough of a sample size. Sub-1 ERA, 0.98, just over a 1.0 walks plus hits per innings pitched. And strikeouts. He's got 16 strikeouts, just 2 walks, so phenomenal stuff. Again, very early, but Framber Valdez got a really good feeling about this guy. For the early returns in spring training. Drew Anderson, I mentioned, a bullpen guy that was one of the bigger bullpen signings for this Tigers team. He had a great spring training as well. 0.69 earned run average, just over a 1 walks plus hits per innings pitched. Emmanuel De Jesus pitched for Venezuela, the winning Venezuela team in the World Baseball Classic. I think he could be a vital part of this team's bullpen. And then, as expected, Tarek Skubal had a pretty, not the greatest, but still pretty solid spring training in there as well. Some players of concern. We saw this guy pitch yesterday in spring, but our friend Jack Flaherty.
Jack Flaherty
was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
I'm not going to put that audio away anytime soon. That's exclusively the Jack Flaherty stinger for this program. But 788 earned run average, not really that good so far. He got lit up yesterday, as a matter of fact. He, in 4.2 innings, allowed 4 runs, 7 hits. Did have 6 strikeouts and a walk, but 2 home runs as well against the Rockies. So, Casey Mize, a little bit of a rougher spring training as well. And then 2 more names. Will Vest, yikes. This guy was, he was a closing pitcher at points last 2 seasons. A little bit of a rougher spring training, over a 9 earned run average, pretty brutal. And then, unfortunately, Justin Verlander. He is going to get the start today. Last start of spring training against the Rockies this afternoon. But a 540 earned run average in 10 innings. Struggled giving up the long ball so far. Couple home runs that he's given up. And then a 1.3 whip. So, again, not completely horrific numbers, but I think we were hoping for a little bit more for Justin Verlander, especially considering how he finished last season with the San Francisco Giants. His last couple starts, he was pretty solid. And I know the Tigers aren't bringing back Justin Verlander to be the guy. He's not going to be the ace with this team. That's okay. He's going to be a back-end rotation guy. But, hey, it is just spring training after all. And we'll see what happens when the season rolls around. But again, last spring training game today for the Detroit Tigers. That's at 3 o'clock. Game is not on the radio. I don't even think it's televised in any form, so we'll just have to look at the score. But, Tigers and Rockies, 3 o'clock today for the final spring training game. And the opening day of Major League Baseball is tomorrow. Yankees and Giants kicking things off. And then the Tigers' first game is on Thursday as they open their series against the San Diego Padres on the road. So exciting this time of year. So take today a little bit of a hybrid season preview and spring training recap for the Detroit Tigers of some of the things we can expect for this team.
If you missed today's installment of On the Docket, podcast it at foxsports1019.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to tune in live weekdays at noon on Jackson's Fox Sports 101.9 FM.